We are in the very front of the annual catalog. It is the very first suite that's in the new annual catalog. Now, for those of you who may be brand new this evening or haven't joined me in a while, my name is Tammy Shia. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator for the past 12 years, and I know some of my ladies watching tonight have been with me all 12 years, which is super cool. Obviously I enjoy it because I've been at it for so long, and we're very happy to have all of you join us tonight, okay? So last week we made cards with Celebrate Sunflowers. And now this week we're going to stay in this suite, Flowers for Every Season, and we are going to be looking at this stamp set called Jar of Flowers, okay? So let me show you some of the suite items that we are going to use tonight, okay? Let's see. We're gonna get to these cards, I promise, but I'm gonna move them out of the way a little bit. Let's start with the designer paper. This designer paper goes with Celebrate Sunflowers and the Jar of Flowers, okay? This is kind of like a mega suite because we have a stamp set in punch and then we have a stamp set in dies, okay? Hi, Joanne, welcome. Okay, so you probably have seen these papers by now, but we'll look at them real quick, and they've kind of gotten mixed up because I've been using the paper this week. This is one of the papers, and then it has the design on the back. Now, all these colors coordinate with our new end colors. Then we've got our sunflowers here, and if you flip it over, we've got that misty moonlight. Then here is another paper, and we've got cinnamon cider on the back. And this paper right here we're going to use tonight, it's sunflowers, and on the back it's even brighter sunflowers in bumblebee. All right, and then we have this paper, which I think we might be using this evening. Isn't that beautiful? And here is the bumblebee pattern on the other side. Now, something I was going to tell you, I know. With this designer paper, what's nice about it is you can use this paper year round. There are flowers in this paper that you will see during all 4 seasons, okay? Each of the 4 seasons. So keep that in mind. Aren't they beautiful? And here's another bumblebee. And then on the back of the flowers here, and these are smaller flowers, and I have them upside down. There we go. If you flip it over, we've got a stripe, okay? And now we have this one. Let's see. So here's this side, and if we flip it over, we have this side. Aren't they pretty, Maria? They are just so beautiful. I think we're using this one tonight. Look at those beautiful tulips. And then on the other side, we've got Just Jade. And then here, I love this one. This is like tones of misty moonlight. And then on the opposite side, we've got some pine tags and pine needles, which would be great for fall and winter. So that's that one. And look at this one, it's poinsettia. So we can use this one at Christmas. And then if you turn it over, we've got a cinnamon cider stripe. And I think I haven't shown you this one. So here's another one. And if you flip it over, we've got the Just Jade design. Actually, I had shown you that one. You did see that one. Okay. And the paper comes 6 by 6, okay? And it comes in this little resealable bag. So I've been reusing it. And all my scraps are also in this bag. Okay, so I've got my scraps in the front. And then I've got the 6x6 in the back, okay? So you can reuse some of these bags. When the papers come in bags, you can reuse it, okay? Alrighty, so let's look at the stamp set. That's what I usually start with. This is a jar of flowers, and this is the coordinating jar punch, okay? Alrighty, so we're gonna talk about this stamp set for a few minutes, and then we're gonna make some cards, and I'm gonna show you how to use these flowers. Okay, in the set, you have 4 different flower arrangements, and these are like the same flowers that are in the designer paper. And then you have stems, okay, that can fit on all of these flowers. And then we've got a mason jar top. Then we have our standard jar. Now, by the way, this stamp set is at 75%, okay? So when I tell you that, what I'm really saying is the stamp is actually bigger than what's on the insert, okay? So just know that these images are at 75%, but here is the jar punch, okay? And I'll even measure the length of that just to kind of give you an idea how tall the jar is. The jar is about 2 1/4 inches tall, okay? I know, I love the jars, they're awesome. All right, so you're gonna notice here, there are 2 jar images. So this jar is for the detail. It has the lines, okay? And so you see all the outline and all the details. Now this jar is a solid image, all right? So that means I can actually peel this photopolymer stamp off the block. I can flip it over. I'm not doing such a great job there, getting it straight. And this side is flat. And when I ink and stamp with it, I get a solid image. So this is called a reversible stamp. And this is actually something that Stampin' Up! Has designed and come up with. And so I believe we're trying to get a patent on it. Same with the small canning jar. You can flip it over and use the solid image. And I'm going to show you that tonight, how to do it. And then we've got this stripe image here, and you can flip this stamp over and get a solid line, okay? Now, the other nice thing is when you purchase a reversible stamp set, you are going to get these images inside. And so I could take my mason jar off, put it right here to store it. Okay, and it stores right in that place. So with the reversible stamp sets, they do give us the images printed on the inside of the insert. I wish they did it for all of them because I really like that. Okay, so I'm going to put the jar back, and this is the little mason jar lid. Okay, all right. And then I'll show you the ribbon real quick because we are going to use some of this evening. This ribbon is a trio. So when you purchase this ribbon, you get all 3 of them, and you get 5 yards of baker's twine, 5 yards of this white linen, and 5 yards of the Just Jade gingham. All right, so they all come together in a package, okay? Yes, Tom, they would be perfect for strawberry jelly. Hello, Bess, so nice to have you tonight. Let's see. Oh, good, Sue. Well, I'm glad you're gonna enjoy the paper, Sue. You really will. It's just a beautiful set. Okay, and then the shaker domes are also part of this suite. And 10 come in a box, okay? And we're gonna use these tonight. I'm gonna show you how to use them, how to install them on your cards, okay? And 10 of those come together. Let's see. And then, oh, let me just show you the blends, okay? The in color blends. We've got Misty Moonlight. How beautiful is that? Just Jade. I'm so excited about these markers. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit. We've got Cinnamon Cider right here. And then we have Magenta Madness, okay? Now, as far as Bumblebee, we don't have Bumblebee in the collection, and it's probably because we have Daffodil Delight and we have Mango Melody. And so that's probably why they didn't create a Bumblebee, but I wanted you to see those. I hope Tom sees all the comments. He is downstairs working, and he must be on Facebook for a few minutes. Sue, it's a great question. Can you mail a card with the dome on it? I don't know. I think you can mail it if it was in a padded envelope, but you won't be able to mail it in a regular envelope. Way too bulky. Okay, so that's a really good question. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay, so now I'm going to show you some cards and different ways that you can use the stamp set. Okay, hi Tina, welcome. Yes, Tom is now chiming in and saying hello to everyone. Yes, he's our embezzlement guy, okay? All right. Well, to get started, I want to show you how I created this card. I'm going to show you 4 cards, and we are going to make the last 2, okay? So with this card, you're going to notice that this sunflower image is cut out. So you might be asking, do we have a die that goes with each of the flowers? And the answer is no. I did some fussy cutting, and honestly, it wasn't too bad. So Laura says, I have mine hand canceled at the post office. They do charge to hand cancel. That's very good to know. Thank you, Laura. Awesome. Well, Tom's becoming very popular with all these comments. I love it. Okay, so with this one, ladies, I did the fussy cutting, okay? Need to know that. And let me tell you how what colors I use to color these, okay? Tonight we are going to do some coloring, so you'll actually see me demonstrate the coloring. But I used Mango Melody, okay? It looks a little yellow, a little orangish. So you might want to take a few notes. This one's Mango Melody and Soft Suede in the center. You could also use Crumb Cake, okay, or Cinnamon Cider. This is colored with Seaside Spray, all right. That's also an in color that came out last year. And then the leaves are colored with Granny Apple Green, okay. I know, Dawn, it would be great to have a class with this, wouldn't it? I mean, I could spend an entire day on the entire suite. I mean, there's just so much to it. Tons of detail, tons to learn about it too. All right, now I want you to look at the jar. The jar is inked in Misty Moonlight and it's punched out, okay? So I'll do that for you real quick. Let's find Misty Moonlight right here. You're going to find this very card on my blog. It was either posted on Monday or Tuesday of this week. It has all the dimensions, okay? All measurements are there, and it goes into detail on how I made the card, okay? So now we're just gonna ink up this mason jar in Misty Moonlight, and then I take the mason jar punch. It's actually called the jar punch, and then I just insert the paper into the punch and punch it out. So super easy to do. And you're going to notice that I popped up the jar and I popped up the flowers. And I positioned the flowers over the jar so that the neck of the jar or the mouth of the jar is not showing, okay? The hello is from Well Said. So I'll show you that set. It's right here. It's actually one set, but it comes with 2 cases, okay? And I love these because the font is smaller and I can get I can use this for banners and that sort of thing, or small words, all right? And then the gems that you see right here, we will be using tonight. And they're the clear gems, okay? And I put 3 on here, and they're 2 of one size and then 1 little one. Okay. So that's how you do that one. And I believe this is Monday's blog post. All right. And my blog is www.becreativestamping.com. Ooh, I messed that one up, didn't I? All right. So that's the first card. Now, our second card is actually stamped right on the Whisper White cardstock, okay? So I'm going to find the supplies for this one. Okay, all right. What did I want to tell you about this one? This is a Whisper White thick card base, okay? When I do card bases in Whisper White, I use our thick cardstock. And I took a sheet of the flowers for every season designer paper. I cut the sheet 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 and adhered it to the top of the base. So the base is completely covered up on the front of the card, okay? Now I want to show you how I stamped this, and I wanted to give you some tips for this, okay? So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And I'm going to find, I think this is the kit that I had for this one. Let's see. Yes. Now this card you can find on my blog from yesterday. It was Tuesday's blog post. So it goes in great detail about how I made it and also measurements, okay? Everything will be there that you need to create this card, okay? All right, so the first thing I'm going to start with, let me clean this stamp because this had the Misty Moonlight on it. All right, so we'll get that cleaned up. And this flower image, I've already put on a block. I am going to use my thick or my Stampin' pad. Okay, because I'm using a photopolymer stamp set and it doesn't have any cushion like a rubber mounted stamp set does, okay? All right, so I think I'm ready now. I'm kind of getting set up over here. Since this is, I think I'll do the jar first. If I get my jar positioned in the right place, then I'll do my flowers. But you can do it either way. You could stamp flowers first and then the jar. Either way. So I am using black Memento ink because I colored with Stampin' Blends. So whenever you're coloring with Stampin' Blends, use this, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna kind of center the jar and stamp right here, okay? And so there's my image. All right, now we're going to take the stems. Now you could stamp the flowers next and then the stems, or you can do stems and then the flowers, okay? So it doesn't matter, okay? It really is your preference. And so these are the stems and they're going to also be done with black Memento ink. Now, here's my first tip. When you stamp the stems, you want to be sure that you're stamping under the mouth of the jar, okay? And so you can see through that stamp, and just be sure to stamp them below that last line on the mouth of the jar, okay? All right, so now we're ready to stamp the flowers. Now with the flowers, this is a pretty big stamp. It's bigger than my pad. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink it upside down, okay, and get coverage that way. Sometimes I find that easier when I have a really big block. Okay. And so now I'm going to position my flowers right above the mouth of that jar. And I'm going to press firmly. And there I have it. All right, any questions about that? Ooh, good question, Darlene. Darlene is asking, how come you don't use StazOn? That is such a great question. The reason is because when we use StazOn, we want to use that when we're watercoloring, and then the black StazOn ink doesn't mix with the watercolor. So when we're coloring with Stampin' Blends, we want to use the Tuxedo Black Memento ink, because when we color with the blends, we don't pick up the black ink. Okay, so excellent questions. I'm so glad you asked that. Okay, I want to show you some tips and tricks for the bottom of this jar. Okay, on the original card, I've got some green stems, all right, in Just Jade. You could also make your stems brown, okay? Let's see, Margaret, another excellent question on ink. Do I ever use basic black? I don't. The Memento is my go-to, okay? It is my go-to. You can use the Memento if you don't color. You can use basic black if you don't color. Yes. Yep, absolutely. But the Memento is just kind of my staple. I'm pulling that one all the time. Okay, so you probably noticed that we've got the lines in the jar, and then we've got the stems, and it looks a bit messy, doesn't it? Well, when you color it, it helps it not be so messy. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to color my stems. All right, and we're not going to be putting this card together, but I do want to give you some tips on this that I figured out that were kind of helpful to me. So while I'm coloring, if you all want to ask any questions, go right ahead. I'm actually doing this in kind of a hurry, okay? So usually I take much more time to color, and I'm not so messy because I'm kind of getting out of the lines here. Okay, all right. Okay, so there's my stems, and now you can tell that it really is starting to look better, all right? Now, another tip, all right? We all know how the mason jars, some of them have this greenish, bluish tint to them instead of being clear. So if you want to create that tint as in T-I-N-T, take your soft seafoam Stampin' Blend, use the brush tip, and just kind of go over, just kind of flicking the color like this, and you're making that mason jar have that tint that so many, you can purchase mason jars that do that, okay? Hi, Margot. So this is soft sea foam for the tint of the jar and Just Jade for the stems. But you could also use cinnamon cider for the stems. You could use soft suede, crumb cake. So any of those, all right? Okay, so happy to have you, Margot. I bet it is hot in California. I mean, it was pretty nice. It wasn't too hot here today, but I just can't imagine. I'm sure it is very warm there. All right, something else you can do, another little tip. If you take your light pool party, use the brush tip. Actually, either tip is fine. Color your jar, and you have water in your jar. All right? Okay. So that's our second tip, okay, is to add water to the jar using light pool party. All right? Now, I'll show you one other little tip here. This card is in the annual catalog, okay, on the page that introduces the suite. And I thought they had embossed "Love You." And so I kept trying to find the stamp, the words, and I couldn't. And then I realized that those words are from the Memories and More cards, okay? And so, of course, I didn't show you the cards tonight in the beginning, but the Memories and More's cards, you get these 3x4 cards, and all I did was to take a paper trimmer and cut it out and pop it up. How cool is that? If you need a quick card, quick words, you've got it. All right? So keep that in mind. And you get 2 of these in the set. All right? Okay, so that is card number 2. All right? Well, Carol, just wait. I have more ideas for water, okay? So it's just going to get more fun from here. Okay, now this is the card that we are going to create tonight, okay? And so we are going to have a winner for this card. So I will find out what it takes to mail this. And so if you're brand new to us and just joining, say hello, tell us where you're from so that your name can be in the drawing for this card, okay? All right, now I have got to find all my little pieces and parts, and I think this is it. Yep, I think this is it. Okay, all righty. So we're gonna start with the stamping first, okay? Thank you, Maria. Yeah, you ladies, I've got some more tips coming up. If you wanna grab paper and pencil, I will reiterate these tips probably on my blog post on Friday, okay? Thank you, Linda. The inspiration for these cards were ideas that were in the annual catalog. That's kind of where I started with this, okay? Okay, so let me grab a sip of water here. All right. So the first thing we'll do with this card, we're going to get our stamping done. And let me find the flower for this one. Is this it? This is it. So I'm going to start by stamping the flower first, okay? Oh, Laura, I know what you mean. Laura says, I have a hard time remembering where I can find a certain sentiment in all my sets, and I would like any ideas. Laura, I have the same problem, and I know that we have that set, but I can't find it. So I tell you what I do. I usually go to the annual catalog and start flipping the pages there. Okay. Oh my gosh, Peggy. Yes, we are using Stella. She is definitely going to visit tonight. Absolutely. All right. Hi, Janice. Nice to have you tonight. Hello, darling. Oh my gosh, it's your first time with us. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. Awesome. Yes, I really just kind of flip through the catalog. Sometimes I'll look on my stamp shelf. My stamps are alphabetized. So, that can be helpful and not helpful too. So, all right, Laura, I'm going to try and take your comment off. Okay, I know you don't want it up there the whole time. Okay, so we're going back to the black Memento ink. All right, we're going to ink it up. And these flowers have tons of detail, and that's another reason I like inking them upside down. I want to make sure I get full coverage, okay? Okay, so back to the card layer. Let me make sure, you know what? That's not the same card. Hang tight. Hang tight. Oh, sorry, I have two cards here. Maybe it's this one. Did I use, I may have used the wrong piece of white. Did I? No. Hang tight. I got extra paper here, too small. I'm sorry, ladies. We might be cutting paper here. I thought I had cut it. Let's see if it's inside. No. Okay, so we're gonna cut a piece of paper. All right, let's start there. How about that? Let's start with measurements. All right, let's measure this thing. Okay, so the measurement on the Whisper White is 3.5 inches. Okay, so that's where we're gonna start. All right, I got my handy dandy little paper trimmer. This was a special back in January when you joined Stampin' Up. You got a little mini paper trimmer. All right, now let's measure this. This is 4.5. And I don't even have 4.5 on there, so guess what? I am gonna guess. It goes up to 4.25. Let me see, did I do this well enough? I need to trim off about 1/8 of an inch. I'm so sorry. I bet that piece of paper is actually floating around on this table and I just don't see it. Does that ever happen to y'all? That'll work. Okay. Okay, here we go. So we've inked this up with black memento ink. Okay, and I'm gonna stamp this towards the top of the Whisper White, okay? Tom from downstairs. Tom's back, ladies, I'm sorry. The embezzlement guy, he's watching tonight. All right, so now we have our flowers, okay? And now we're going to add the jar. So let me bring the card back in. Darlene, we live in Suffolk, Virginia, so we're very close to the Virginia Beach. We're in the Hampton Roads area, but used to live in Richmond, okay? So, all right, so let's go back to the card. We're going to punch out the jar shape, okay? So let's do that. All right, we're still gonna stamp a jar, okay? But just hang tight. Okay, I am going to punch this. I am centering this, okay? That's the first thing I'm doing is centering the punch. And I do know that when I punch this, because I am putting a shaker dome in here, I need to move it up a bit. And I'll show you that when we get to the shaker dome, okay? It'll make more sense when I show you the shaker dome. So I've cut out some of the flowers, but that's okay, all right? All right, now, okay, now I'm going to bring in a sheet of Whisper White cardstock, and this is measuring 2 by 3 inches, okay? So that's our next one. Laura from the kitchen table. Laura, you're not in your stamp room? All right, Laura is working on her stamp room this summer. Okay. All right, so now we've got our beautiful punch. We're done with the stamping, okay? And now the next, actually we're not done with stamping because I need stems, okay? So let's do some more stems. And remember our first tip that we learned? You want to stamp right under that bottom line on the jar. Okay? Right about there. All right, see? Right below that last line on the mason jar. Okay? I know Tom does put up with a lot. Let me tell you, he really does. All right, now this time for the stems, and I'll kind of bring in the card, okay? Let's do cinnamon cider. What do you think? It's one of our new in colors. Thanks, Maria. All right. So we're going to color this, and we're going to get those stems colored first, okay? So let's do that. And you know, my sidekick, my daughter Jacqueline, is actually visiting a friend this week, and so she is not here to help me with my Facebook Live. So let's hope nothing goes wrong, because you all know that when it does, that I panic and I call her name. So hopefully things will go well, and then when she comes home, she'll say, "Mom, I knew you could do it all by yourself." But she's been a real trooper. She has helped me so much with this stuff. Okay, so stems are done, and they're done in cinnamon cider. I used the light, but you could certainly use the dark or add some dark to it, okay? All right. Now the next thing I'm gonna do is, which is pretty much what we did on the other one, I'm gonna tint my jar with the light seafoam, and I'm kind of going over those lines for definition. You don't have to do this. This is just a little tip if you want to try something, all right? And then take your pool party, and this is where you're going to fill your jar with water, okay? All right, and let me just look at that next card. Yeah, we're good. All right. Okay, so we don't want it too full, because then the water will spill everywhere, right? Okay, so we're done with the jar. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is to color the flower, okay? And I'll color just a little bit of this. You know, we're already getting close to an hour, and I really want to get into the second card with you on how to add things to the shaker dome. So I'm just going to do some coloring that, let's see, that's right around here, because that's going to be super hard for me to color once I add the shaker dome and the bow, okay? So let's just get that coloring done. This is the light, Misty Moonlight. And at this point, I don't need my mat, so I'll just move that. So again, I'm just going to get these colors that are right around where that dome is going to be. Now, has anyone played around with these domes yet? Because this was my first week actually getting to this. So I don't guess that's too bad. The catalog came out June 3rd, and we're still in June, right? So it's not too bad. All right. So here I am adding the Misty Moonlight. And again, I'm going to give you some coloring tips here. I'm just kind of shading everything right now with Misty Moonlight. Okay, I am going to take the dark, all right? And I'm just going to highlight some of these areas, make them a little bit darker. Okay. All right, something like that. And then for the center, I'm using Mango Melody. I really like this. Daffodil is another good choice, but I'm loving Mango Melody with the flowers. Oh, well, Gail, you know what, Gail? We haven't even put the dome in yet. So you know what? You may have not made it harder than usual. All right, you don't know yet. I'm going to color my flower centers with that mango. All right. And then I'm going to get this flower down here, and I can finish coloring later. All right. I know Gail made a beautiful card yesterday that she posted on our Hostess Club group. It was really, really pretty. All right, what do y'all think of that magenta? I mean, it is like neon pink. It just pops. Now with your magenta, this is the light one. And then what you can do is take your dark magenta and you can go in here and get these smaller areas like this, like the outline of the flower. Okay, so I always like to do that. There we go. And I'm going to go over here and I'm just going to add some tones here to kind of darken it up a bit. All right. So that's the gist of it right there. Oh, hi, Irma. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. The greenery is done in just jade, okay? Misty Moonlight, Magenta Madness, and then the centers are Mango Melody. But you can use Daffodil. Hi, Pam. Welcome. All right. Now we're ready for the shaker dome, okay? All right. So this is our little dome. These are so cute. Whoops. I'm going to go in and pull a second one out because we need it for the second card, okay? 10 in a box. Ladies, these domes have adhesive on the front and on the very back, okay? So know that there is adhesive on both sides. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to take this tape off the front, okay? Only the front. And I'm calling this the front, and this is where, this is the front of the jar. And I have peeled that paper off, okay? So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to position this right over this, okay? And now it is stuck to it. All right, easy peasy. Okay, here's a tip for you. When you're using shaker domes, you don't want your jar to be too low, because if the jar was punched lower than this, then you would see that plastic, all right? And I don't know if I can explain that any better. For example, let's see. What can I use? I actually don't have a sample to show you. But let's say I punch down here. So my jar is down here, this low, and there's like 1/8 of an inch of cardstock. This is gonna show, and you don't want the sticky stuff to show. So you've got to punch high enough, all right, that this is not going to show. Does that make sense? So here's where the sticky stuff is now. But if I had punched any lower, I would have had to bring the dome down and then look. Now I've got a problem. It's not going to work on the card, okay? So that is another huge tip for you, all right? Don't forget that one. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is, and this is kind of like do both at the same time, I guess. This is the Flowers for Every Season gems, and they're in just jade and they're in clear, okay? And they are in different sizes. Some look like sequins, some are like little domes, but this is what we're using, okay? It's part of the suite. And for this, I'm just gonna lay gems on top, and you're gonna see why, all right, in just a second. So I'm just gonna put a few gems in here. Love these things, and I wish I had ordered like a dozen because I'm using them. All right, now I have adhesive over here, okay? So now it's time to move this adhesive, all right? Peel this one off, everybody with me? And now we're going to position this so that it fits right here, okay? And then I'm just gonna rub to make sure that it is sticking, okay? And there is my little shaker, all right? And there it is on the back, and no one is ever going to see that. Now let me see It's so funny that I got my cards mixed up tonight. It's crazy. That is not for that card. Let's see. Let's see if I have the right one. This is supposed to be it. Is that one it? No, that one is not it. So, I know I cut the cardstock for this, and it's crazy because I just don't see it. All right, so let's talk about the rest of the card, okay? The rest we just put together, all right? So this Just Jade layer is measuring 3 5/8 of an inch, all right? And you can't see very much of it, but it's 3 5/8. And then if you measure here, it's 4 5/8. And that is your first layer. Then you've got your Just Jade card base. You've got your Whisper White layer, which is 4 by 5 1/4. And then your designer paper layer is 3 5/8 by 5 1/8. And these measurements will be on my blog tomorrow. This card is on my blog tomorrow, okay? Now this layer, the Just Jade and the Whisper White, I popped this up, all right? So that's what I wanted to be sure that you knew that, okay? All right, let's talk ribbon, all right? And I will be giving this card away and I'll just finish it later, all right? So for the ribbon, I'm going to use the Just Jade gingham, and I'm just tying a bow here. All right, and then once I tie that bow, I just kind of start playing with it, and I want to see how small I can get it, which I think this will work. All right, and then I'm going to trim. Oh, and Margaret, I'm so glad you love this set because I know you ordered this. Sweet. Oh my gosh, wait till you get it, Margaret. You're gonna love it, girl. And Gail has it. Now, ladies, for this bow, I'm just putting a glue dot on the center knot. And then I'm just gonna add it to the dome. But on the next card, you're gonna learn a bow trick, okay? A ribbon trick. All right, you're welcome, Darlene. Darlene, if you visit my blog tomorrow, it's www.becreativestamping.com. You will see this card and the measurements are there and how I put it together, okay? And the supply list with all the supplies you need to create this card, okay? It'll be right there. And so there's my little shaker dome. Now let's talk about what we can put inside the shaker dome. Let's brainstorm. We've got our gems. You could do sunflower seeds. You could do potpourri. You could do flower petals. You can do mini M&Ms. Can you all think of anything to put inside? Hi, Teresa, welcome. Oh, good, Carol ordered it. So think of some other things that we can put inside, things that I have not thought of yet. Okay. All right, so this is the card we're gonna be giving away tonight, and yes, I will finish it before I mail it. Okay, all righty. Now the next one, oh man, love this one. So hang tight. Let me move that out of the way. And let's bring in this card right here, okay? Now, ladies, this one has some gel in it. Do you know what that is? I mean, it looks like water, doesn't it? But it's thick. Sequins, yes, that would be perfect. And Gail, that's what you put in your card, right? Yeah, sequins is an awesome idea. Very good. Okay, so anybody have any idea what kind of gel that is? It's pretty cool, isn't it? We're gonna fill this with gel, okay? It can be done, all right? Okay, so for this one, we are definitely, I'm going to change it up, all right? And then we'll see which card we like best, okay? So I'm changing it up with the sunflowers, okay? And we're going to use the sunflower stamp set for this one, all right? So let's go ahead and get this one put together. I'm going to use, thank you, Pam. Thank you so much. Yeah, those are tulips and they're colored in Mango Melody. Ooh, aloe vera. Excellent guess, Linda. And aloe vera would work. Girls, it's something that's a hot commodity right now. It's been a hot commodity since March and it can be hard to find. And it's hand sanitizer. Isn't that ironic? It's hand sanitizer. How funny is that? The one thing that we just can't get enough of, right? All right. Okay, so whoops. Okay, can y'all tell I'm using our new Stampin' Seal? Hang tight. Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this layer onto Misty Moonlight, okay? Yes, Peggy, you are right. You're right. Thanks for sharing, Teresa. All right. Okay, so measurements for this card are probably the same for the last one, but I'll measure it for you. Oh, Jeannie from Woodstock, so good to have you. I know where Woodstock is. I have family from Woodstock. That's so cool. Joanne, I'm so glad you like the cards. Thank you so much. That means a lot. Okay, ladies, designer paper. 3 7/8 by 5 1/8, okay? And then the Misty Moonlight is going to measure 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, okay? Yes, our cards are very valuable. Yes, they're priceless, aren't they? Just priceless. Okay. So I learned a little trick about my Stampin' Seal. Sometimes when you go to roll it, it doesn't want to move. And so what I do is I just kind of nudge that wheel and it gets it going again. Okay, look at this. It pulled up the fiber on my cardstock, but that is okay. All right, so if that happens to you, that is normal, and it is because it is stickier than snail, okay? So that is not an issue. All right. Now we're going to add this to our Bumblebee card base, and we're just gonna center it, okay? All right, so at least we'll get this one put together, right? Okay. So that's all we'll do right now, but I wanted you to see these pretty this pretty paper, okay? It's actually Woodstock, Virginia, Laura. Yep, Woodstock, Virginia, which is, Peggy is living near there now. All right, here we go. Whisper White. Let me measure these 2 layers for you, okay? 3 1/8 of an inch. By 4 1/2 inches. I didn't even know there was a Woodstock, Vermont. Oh my goodness. Ooh, hair gel for the water. Okay, cool. I didn't know that, Joanne. So if we can't find hand sanitizer, we need to use hair gel, okay? Your Misty Moonlight is going to measure 3 1/4 inches by 4 5/8 of an inch, okay? And then we will eventually tape these 2 together and we will pop it up on the card base. All right. I thought so, Peggy. I thought Jeannie was your knitting buddy. That's awesome. Okay, let's get out this black Memento ink again. And let me get my pad over here. Again, I'm going to stamp my flowers first. Okay. You could do the jar though. All right. Oh my gosh, and there's a Woodstock, Ontario. I had no idea there were so many Woodstocks. Okay. All right, so these are my sunflowers. Okay? And I'm going to put these about right here. I hope I got this good enough. I hope it's inked enough. Yes. All right, done. Okay, so that little piece is done. Then I am going to take a 2x3, and I bet all of you know what this is. This is for the jar. Black Memento ink, okay? And then we're just gonna stamp it in the center. Oh, you know what? I meant to do something else. Hang tight. We're gonna redo that, okay? I'm gonna clean this off, and we're gonna do it in a different color. Did I get that clean enough? Yes. Okay, flip it over. We're gonna use Pool Party, okay? So we're using Pool Party on this one. We're not gonna be coloring, okay? We won't be coloring this jar. There's my Pool Party. So make a note of that, okay? If you like this card. I mean, you could do it in Black Memento, but in the original, it looks like just water in the container, okay? All right, so now it's time for stems, and actually the stems can be in the Black Memento. We want them to show up, okay? All right. So there's our stems right there. And let's see, now, okay, remember the small canning jar? We are going to flip this jar so that it is a solid image, okay? And then I'm going to ink it in Pool Party. I'm going to stamp off, and then I'm going to fill the jar with water. What do you think? So instead of using your Stampin' Blend to color, you can use the stamped image and Pool Party ink. What do you think, ladies? Ta-da! Oh, good, Joanne. We can go to Dollar Tree and get it. Awesome. What a good tip. That is a tip for sure. That's awesome. Okay, now we're ready to punch our jar. So let's get that done, okay? Now remember, I don't want to punch real low, okay? Because we've got to put that cup in there. So we want to center this. And I'm moving it up a little bit, okay? And I'm gonna punch. It punches out some of the flowers, but that's not a big deal, all right? Okay, now, I am going to, we gotta get that green colored, so let's do that. Hang tight. Can you all see okay? And then I will go up here. I am using the dark Granny Apple Green right here. Okay. Let me get this greenery here. If you have Old Olive, you can use Old Olive. Works great. You could do just Jade if you want it. Shaded Spruce. All right. So yeah, lots of options for you on the greens. Okay. All right. I'm trying to look at my old sunflower to kind of see where all my lines are. Okay. So the next thing I want to color is I want to get down here around this jar and get this out of the way. I do recommend that you color the whole thing before putting the shaker dome in, but you don't have to. All right. This is the dark Mango Melody, and so I'm going in with the dark now, and see all those lines? Those are like shadows, and so I'm coloring those in dark. And then I like to color like every other petal dark. Okay. All right, so that's kind of like my sunflower. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit so you all can see that. I'm sorry, I'm really going over tonight. As you can tell, I really had a lot of fun. Lots of fun with the sunflowers. I could spend a month on this entire suite. All right. All right, and then I'll take my lighter. I know I have a sunflower there, okay, but I'll worry about that later because I want to get to the fun part. I'm going to take the fine tip and then I'm going to go in here and get these colored, okay? And definitely when you're done with all this coloring, you can use your Wink of Stella and really make this sunflower glisten. All right? All right. I'm gonna take, on the original sunflower card I used soft suede, but I now have cinnamon cider, and so I'm gonna use that. All right, what do you think? Aren't they pretty sunflowers? Thank you, Jeannie. Oh, good, Carol. I'm glad it's not too long. I'm glad. All right. All right, so that's how you do your sunflowers there, okay? And I guess while we're on the flowers, let me show you a couple other things. Let's see, this right here, this center, I'm gonna kind of do, this is Seaside Spray, by the way, which I love. I love this color. I did a wedding card in this color and it was just so pretty. It's a very classy color. All right, so this little ornamental stuff here, I am doing in the seafoam, all right? This right here, which you cannot tell what this is, it's a petal to a different flower. So I'm just gonna do that, okay? And I'll get my lighter now and do that one. And this is where I would go back and finish the sunflower, okay? I know, I love sunflowers too. Okay, centers. Let's, we're gonna use cinnamon cider here. All right, and this is my light. So you know I'm gonna add some dark, right? I'm gonna go back and add some dark. Here's my dark cinnamon cider. Okay, and I'm just gonna kind of do that around there. What do you think? Oh, thank you, Rita. I'm so glad you like it. Getting that outer edge there, okay, like that. All right, so, and this is a sunflower here, so I guess I could finish coloring it, huh? It'll only take me a second to finish it up. That way we'll have the whole card. You know what? That flower right there, hang tight. Is that a sunflower? I think it is a sunflower. Sometimes when I stamp a flower image, I am not sure, you know, where the lines are, the leaves and the petals. So if you look at the stamped image, look at the samples in the catalog, and it will show you the different lines, petals, flower centers, flowers, all that good stuff, okay? All right, so that's kind of what you have to look at. All right, now that's light. I'm gonna go back with the dark mango. All right, and give this a little definition here. So as you can see, you can start with light. You can even start with the dark if you want. All right. And ladies, that's our sunflowers in vase, okay? Now, I would wait until you assemble the card before doing your Wink of Stella, okay? And in case you don't know what that is, we're gonna get to the Wink of Stella too, so don't let me forget. Okay, it's time for our shaker dome. All right. Okay. Now, if you look at the original card, you're going to notice that I used gingham ribbon. And this is the Bumblebee gingham, and it's about a 1/4 inch wide, whereas the Just Jade is about a 1/2 inch wide. Okay? All right. So here comes another trick, okay? So be sure that you're watching, all right? This is a good one. I am going to, let's see. This is the top of the dome. I'm going to peel some of this paper off, okay? Just that much, all right? So I stopped about right there. Then I am going to take my ribbon and I'm going to run it across the top of the dome. Got it? And that adhesive is sticking with the gingham ribbon. Thank you, Mary Kay. Thank you so much. Thanks, Linda. The blend storage trays are on back order. My order came today. Oh, good. I know. Wait till you get to do that. How awesome, Joanne. All right. They're still on back order. I'm sorry about that, but you will get them. All right. So everybody got that? You're running your ribbon across the top of the mouth of the jar. Okay? All righty. Now, we're going to finish peeling this off. We are going to take a glue dot and we're going to add that glue dot right where that ribbon is, okay? Because remember, once we put the ribbon over it, it's not sticky anymore, okay? So we want it sticky. I'm doing the same here. So I have a glue dot here. I have a glue dot there, okay? Oh, thank you, Cindy. So nice to have you tonight. Anyone new tonight, please comment so your name can be in the drawing tonight. I'm just grabbing a sip of water. Okay, so now we're ready to put the card right over this. Okay? And look, we have ribbon. How cool is that? And look, the ribbon is on the back side. Okay? Isn't that cool? All right. Now, let's go back and find our stamped, here it is, right here. I'm trying to remember how I did this. Hang on. You ever make something and then forget how you did it? Because I do that constantly. All right, let me see here. Okay. So we are going to, now you can do this either way. You can peel this off and fill it with hand sanitizer. Oh, September, what a beautiful name. So nice to have you tonight. Or you can fill with hand sanitizer and then remove it, okay? So I'm glad you said hello. All right, so I'm just gonna go on and remove this. I've gotta be careful though, right? Because I don't want to get the gel on there. All right, and this is where I have to remember, I must remember, maybe I did it like this. I bet I did. No, didn't do that. I gotta remember how I did the jar part. It worked really well, I just can't remember. All right, I know what I'm gonna do. I'll put the top on and then I'll start looking up, right? That's the way it's gonna get done. Okay, here we go. So this is our hand sanitizer. You're gonna be surprised how much this takes, okay? Because on my original, I thought I put a ton in here, but I didn't put enough. I remember what to do now. Okay. All right, now that certainly ought to be enough. I've almost filled the entire cup, don't you think? All right, so here we go. Ready? All right. So these are the gems we're gonna use, and we're gonna drop them in. So see, don't you need like 10 packages of these gems? I know I do. They're on my next order. I hope they're not on back order. I'm trying to get some green in there. Hang on. And you know, you probably could put sequins in with the gel. right, hang on. I'm sure I have enough. You don't have to add that many, but it makes it fun. Okay, now I remember what you do. You are going to take a window sheet, and we sell window sheets in the annual catalog. And they measure the window sheets you purchase are 12 by 12, and you get two big sheets. Okay, two 12 by 12s. They're in the annual catalog. You will turn past designer paper, and then you're going to notice it on the page with foil, the foil sheets. What else is on that page? If somebody can give me the page number, that would be awesome. But we do sell window sheets, and I've cut this window sheet 2 inches by 3 inches. All right, and that's going to be enough window sheet to cover this. So I'm covering it up, and this is where I really want to be sure, okay, that it's sealed. All right. It's so nice to have so many new friends tonight, and a beautiful name too. Oh yes, definitely fill them with sunflower seeds. Darling, yep. All right. Okay, girls, guess what? We are done with that, okay? And then I'll even turn it over and I'll press some more because I want to be sure that it's not going to leak, okay? Now, this is where I'm going to add this jar. And I think you could put glue dots around here. I think... should I do that? Maybe I'll do glue dots. I did glue dots originally, and what I did was I took the glue dots and I just kind of put them around the frame of the jar. All right. Okay, so you can do that. You could put the stamp and seal around this frame. Could certainly do that too. All right, and let's see, I'll put another one there. I think that's enough. All right, so now at this point, I'm gonna flip this over and I'm gonna put this right on top. And we have stems in the jar now, okay? Thank you, Cindy. Definitely give it a try. Laura says on page 153 in the annual book, you're going to find window sheets. Thank you, Laura, for looking that up for me. I appreciate it. All right. And Cindy's going to give this technique a try. This is so fun. Like, I want to make all my cards like this now, okay? It's just super fun. All right, what we're going to do now is we're going to add this, okay? So to add that, I am going to use Stamp and Seal. And this gets a little tricky, okay? All right, it gets really tricky to get this around because of the dome. Okay. And by the way, remember originally I stamped the jar in black memento, but I changed my mind, flipped over the paper, and we stamped it in Pool Party. Okay? So just remember that. This is super hard this way. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna put some here. It's so hard to do that with the dome because you have to work around the dome. All right. Ooh, is that sticky? All right. Oh, thank you, Teresa. Oh, I'm so glad. I know, I love it too. It's fun. All right, I'm gonna center this, okay? It's about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. I hope. Hopefully I did that right. All right. Okay. All right, so that's what we have so far. We're gonna pop this up. All right. If you ladies make any of these jar cards, please message me, send it, post it. I want to see it. All right. I want to see them. All right. We're going to pull this off. Remember, this layer is going to get popped up on the card base. Okay. And all those tips and tricks that we talked about tonight, they'll be listed on my blog this Friday. Okay. Yeah, definitely try the window sheet technique. Yes, I know. Isn't this fun? All right, I'm going to center this, ladies. Okay. That's where that's getting centered. And we're not done. We're going to add, well, two things we're going to add. All right. And I've already done this little part. So we're going to add the word hello. And hello came from the well-written stamp set. Remember, I showed you this in the beginning. So I used the word hello. And then I took the ornate frames and I cut it out with this die. So if you purchased these back, it was last fall, they were part of a Halloween stamp set. If you purchase these, dig them out because these are awesome dies and you can use them with so many different words, okay? But that's the one that I used. Another good hello is from Forever Fern, all right? Which is what this one is right here. This hello came from Forever Fern, all right? I'm so glad you like this card. It's just so funny. Every time, every week I make cards, I'm like, I don't know if they're gonna like this. So you all make me feel really good. I've added a glue dot and I'm just gonna tuck that right there, okay? And then we're gonna add a little bow. I love this ribbon. If it goes on back order, it's because I bought all of it. Love the bumblebee ribbon. So darn cute. This bow needs to be kind of small. So this is kind of where I do the shrinking of the bow here. I think that will work. Let's see. Maybe I'll turn that. All right. Okay. Now I'm ready to trim it. I'm so glad y'all like this card. Don't leave, okay? Because we're gonna have a drawing and someone gets to take this card home tonight, okay? I have 2 cards I'm giving away tonight. We're gonna go ahead and add that bow right about there. Look what I've done. You can't even see the words now. All right, let's see if I can tighten this thing up. All right. And then I'll do this. And I just kind of keep fiddling with the bow until I, get it like I want it. All right. So maybe add the words last because adding them first, I've kind of like covered them up. Okay. Oh, good. I know, Carol, you're going to enjoy it. All right. So here's sunflowers. And then here are the tulips. All right. And, remember how much hand sanitizer I added? I mean, I added a ton. So now it's like half full. Okay. Half full. All right. I know everybody seems to love sunflowers. Absolutely.